Now, can a car, a variant, a model be so different from its base variant that you can definitely call it something else? Now, the word Veloz actually stands for fast. It conjures up a lot of thoughts in your head that means aggressive, quick, but can it also be functional at the same time? What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here for Zigwheels.Ph, and today we've got a special review for you. It's the all-new Toyota Veloz. Is this your next subcompact crossover? Let's find out. Now, there are a lot of things I want to talk about the Toyota Veloz, but let's start off with the exterior features. Now, for the front fascia, you'd notice that it has a more aggressive front-looking grille than its Avanza brother. It has this nice, aggressive front grille. Kind of looks like a honeycomb grille, but it's blacked out in piano black. Now, you know I don't like piano black when it comes to the interior, but please, if you have a chance to put it in the outside, go ahead. You guys have my blessing. And Toyota done just that. It also has this nice chrome strip that runs across the front hood. Now, the hood's awfully short when it comes to the width of it, but it has these nice hunches on top of the headlamps to give you more visibility inside. Now, when you're driving, especially a crossover SUV like this, it gives you more confidence while driving because you know exactly where it is, especially when parking. Now, of course, the lower lip right here gives you a bit more security because it's higher up. So the only thing that you'll be scratching is that lower section, which you can barely see. Now, you definitely won't be scratching this because it has 190 millimeters of ground clearance. Let's check out the side so we can see exactly that. Now, heading over to the side profile of the Toyota Veloz, while the Avanza has those 16-inch wheels, which looks nice on itself, the Veloz actually has these 17-inch machined two-tone alloy wheels that kind of look really nice and sporty, especially with this Philippine domestic market exclusive black plastic cladding, because for us, it's not going to be a crossover SUV if it doesn't have the black plastic cladding. Of course, that is a prerequisite of all crossover SUVs in my book, at least. Of course, you got that chrome strip again, following over from the headlamps all the way to the rear. If you notice, that chrome strip actually just envelops the entire car. Again, I hate chrome. I really don't like seeing chrome in my cars, but it works in this one. As I mentioned up front, it's got 190 millimeters of ground clearance, and you can clearly see that right here, even though it has that black side skirt. No problems. So we receive a lot of comments from gearheads saying that rear disc brakes are better than rear drum brakes, but in budget cars, you won't really notice it. But Toyota was able to put some rear disc brakes on the Toyota Veloz as well, giving it a more premium feel and look. All right, so in the rear, the Toyota Veloz really shines and differentiates itself from its Avanza brother. First of all, you got this light bar in the back. So for you Toyota Corolla fans in the 90s, wishing that the entire rear bar is actually lights up, you find that in the Toyota Veloz right here. You got an interesting design in the bottom as well, which acts like some sort of fog diffuser. You got your integrated spoiler up there, and of course, the Veloz badge. This is not a Avanza, this is a Toyota Veloz. So it's starting to rain, which is fine. But let's check out the inside so that we can give you more insight into what it looks like. All right, so inside the Toyota Veloz, you'd see a lot of modern amenities that you won't usually find in this class. First of all, you've got this floating center console design right here. As you can see, it's all piano black. You know what I feel about piano black? It's definitely a fingerprint magnet, a sponge magnet. Even if you've cleaned it with a microfiber cloth, just look at it funny and you'd find someone else's fingerprint right there. But at least it's nicely designed and it's well laid out. You got your automatic climate control system right here. Of course, your passenger seat belt indicators, so you know exactly who's being pasaway out there. Whenever your passengers don't want to put their seat belts, you know exactly who doesn't have their seat belts there. You got your CVT shifter right here as well. It's got that leather boot here to make it look like you have a manual transmission from afar, but you're not fooling anyone. You've got an automatic, in this case a CVT with manual mode. Right below that, you also have your automatic brake hold, your electronic parking brake, and you also have a nice surprise right here, a nice shelf for wireless charging whenever your phone is compatible. It's Qi compatible, so there you go. So the seats are nicely bolstered, they're comfortable and supportive, and they have almost 3 layers of fabric on them: leather, the suede material, and fabric. All right, so back to the design of the dash. You're not going to compare this to the Avanza, because this one here is much more luxurious with more soft touch materials right here, and of course the Veloz badge. You're not going to mistake this for any other car except for that. You got this huge touchscreen infotainment system that's pretty much lag free. I love how Toyota is using their new systems in their cars. They used to have these really small touchscreens. Now you got this huge one with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Now you can see in the touchscreen information system here, more information like temperature outside, your water temperature, voltage, and a clinometer. So this is definitely a crossover SUV, but don't go off-roading in this one. Maybe in a pinch, but definitely don't go off-roading. The steering wheel's leather wrapped and nice. You got your different buttons here, your drive mode button, and of course this menu button for you to check out this huge multi-information display up front. You won't see any analog gauges here. It's all digital. If you're familiar with our review of the Toyota Raze, kind of looks like this one, but this is actually so much better because it has better resolution, the brightness is amazing, and you can change the themes as well, apart from looking at all the different informations about your Toyota Veloz. And what I particularly like about the driver's seat is that the left armrest is parallel to the center armrest, so when you're driving comfortably like this, one of your elbows isn't higher or lower than the other, so that's fine. You got your usual cup rest here, first seen in the Raze. All right, so you even have ambient mood lighting on the door seals and the center console. Overall, it's a pretty nice place to be in and pretty sporty as well. Let's check out the second row, and if we have time, the third row seats. All right, in the second row seats, you've got tons of space for days right here. Even with my considerable height, I still have a lot of leg room, knee room, foot room, head room, even shoulder room for me to fit inside. Plus, you got lots of toys to play with. You've got two 2.1 amp chargers right here for your USB cables. You got a single cup holder in the middle and another cup holder by the door sill. You got one on each side, but they're awfully small for my taste, so probably keep the drinks, at a sakto level. Remember that. Just go ahead and use these pockets right here at the back of the seats. You can actually put your phones right there, or even your tablet. If you got a tablet, I don't have a tablet. Maybe someone would like to sponsor me one for me to showcase that, but you got it right there. And your usual map pockets down below. So you got your nicely designed AC vents here, but instead of having those old school UV looking air vents, it's got this ingenious design where you can actually just cover the vents here and redirect the air individually. So instead of having air blasted to your face, you can actually redirect them to your comfort. Now you got more of the soft touch materials right here because they got a lot of that in front, so they decided to put it in the back. One more thing that I really love about the Toyota Veloz is, well, on the second row seats, is that on some crossover SUVs or MPVs, the window only closes down here. And it's kind of claustrophobic for me, but as you can see, the Veloz closes all the way down, giving you all that space, all that air, and you definitely won't feel claustrophobic. All right, this is definitely a win for me. And all right, I'm gonna do it. Let's head over to the third row seats and see if I actually fit there. All right, before I check out if I can fit in the third row seats, I'd like to demonstrate what Toyota calls long sofa mode. So in order to do that, you need to remove the headrests right here. Take that off real quick. And then fold this down, push this forward, fold this down even more. As you can see, the second row seats actually form seamlessly into the third row seats. But before I step in here, you know what Lola says, take your damn shoes off before getting into the house. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. All right. Oh, yes guys, I can fit in the third row seats this way, but let's do it the traditional way, okay? So doing so, fold this up, okay? And put the seats back, the headrests back. Yeah, and I can fit perfectly in the third row seats, no problem, but that will leave absolutely no space for second row passengers. So Ash, yes, so I asked to have the seats pushed forward back into the normal position, but nope, I can't fit into the third row seats. My knees are banging against the second row. My head's up here in the ceiling. So it's a no-go for me, but for regular sized people or smaller kids probably, this will be a great place to be at because you've got USB ports, you got cup holders, your bottle holders here, and yeah, nice pocket here as well for stuff. But again, for guys 5'10.5" and higher and taller, nope, probably best in the second row and the first row. You know what, let's head it over to Dylan and ask him about his driving impressions of the Toyota Veloz.
Hello, Dylan here, and I'm going to give my driving impressions of the 2022 Toyota Veloz. Now, the Veloz shares a 1.5-liter engine that makes 108 horsepower and 142 Newton meters of torque with the new Avanza, as well as it also shares with the MPV a CVT. Now, first impressions, the engine gives smooth yet powerful performance considering there are 4 of us on board right now, and the engine has enough power to move us forward in a brisk pace. There are 2 driving modes to choose from. One is the Eco mode and the other is Power mode. Right now we're in Power mode, so that tunes the engine to give more power lower down the rev range. While the Eco mode, well, as the name suggests, dulls down the throttle so you won't waste so much fuel. Suspension wise, the 2022 Toyota Veloz is underpinned by McPherson struts up front and a torsion beam set up at the rear. The ride quality is good and soaks up the bumps really well. Now, my rear passengers at the second row agree with me that the ride is very comfy, especially right now during our 2-hour drive to Laguna, where a good ride quality is much appreciated. As for the NVH, in the city, the Veloz isolates the passengers good from the road and wind noise, but out on the highway, there's some road noise and engine noise that creeps in at speed. Now, while it shares an engine and transmission with the Avanza, what sets the Veloz apart from the MPV out on the road? And that is the Toyota Safety Sense. Now, what is Toyota Safety Sense? Now, while the Avanza has rear parking sensors and rear camera, the Veloz has a whole shebang of cameras and sensors in its Toyota Safety Sense. Now, Toyota Safety Sense includes automatic high beam, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert. Now, my favorite features among those is the blind spot monitoring, which works well in the city and the highway in informing me if there's a motorcycle or vehicle in my blind spots. And my second favorite feature is the 360 camera, which helps me in parking, especially in cramped parking garages and parking spaces in general. Now, the Veloz has 2 variants. Now, we're behind the wheel of the 1.5V variant of the Veloz, which has the Toyota Safety Sense and retails for $1,225,000. Meanwhile, the entry-level 1.5G retails for $1,185,000. And personally, I'd go for this 1.5V variant because I think that Toyota Safety Sense makes every drive that much safer, and it's worth the extra expense.
So there you have it, folks. It's got the class, the looks, and the performance to pass up as a compact crossover SUV. So don't you call this an Avanza? It's the Toyota Veloz. What do you think? Leave us a comment in the comment section down below. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so that you're alerted whenever we upload a new video. Once again, this is Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph, and I'll see you guys next time.